Hello once again, witchy people. So, as you may notice from the title of this brain farts completely again, as you may have noticed from the title of this video, it is about diets. Now, this had to be addressed because, okay, last year I kind of acknowledged the fact that I'd started regaining quite a bit of weight. I'd lost a lot. I was originally, well, at my weightiest, I think I was about 350 pounds, and I dropped to 123. No, maybe 127. I think it was 127 pounds at my lowest. But 140 pounds is kind of my where my weight likes to sort of like stagnate, I guess. Well, one of the places it likes to stop. And so yes, last year I did the witchy weight diet, and I said about the oil that I had made to help with my diet to get back down to about 140 pounds, which for English people is 10 stone, which may seem a lot. It still puts me in an overweight category, but my doctor says ignore that, because you know I think for my height I can be as low as about 7 stone and still be in a healthy weight range. If I went down to 7 stone, I'd be well below a size 0 and possibly in a coffin. Anyway, so that, I did for a while faithfully stick back to my diet. Now, I used to be one of these people that called it, it's not a diet, it's a change of lifestyle. It's not, it's a bloody diet. Tell it like it is. It's hard work. It's a diet, because you do, when you are trying to lose weight, you do eat in a way that is not really sustainable forever. You tend to, it's when you're maintaining your weight that you have the lifestyle change. That's when you try to get on an even kill where you are taking in as many calories as you are burning off, Anyway, I digress slightly. So by the time this, I'm going to put my feet up and relax here. By the time this January rolled around, and I can't use the pandemic as an excuse because we weren't in lockdown then, my weight had gone up to about, it was just over 280 pounds. Now that's still a way off of the 350 pound plus that I used to be, but it's not good. Considering as well, like 5'3" here, actually I'm slightly under 5'3", but it's not, I'm very broad shouldered, I'm very wide hipped, as I was once told by a man who asked me to be his 5th wife. I have childbearing hips. I said no, obviously, I was only 16 at the time. Anyway, I'm very broad shouldered, very wide of hip, and I will never be below 9.5, 10 stone. And at 10 stone, I'm a size 10, a UK size 10. So, why would I want to go below that? Anyway, digressing again. So I am nowhere near the 350 pound mark. And then last week I got 2 really sweet emails. Now I know it's difficult for people to ask this question because they don't want to assume that this is a good thing, or that basically I was asked, have you lost weight? Because you look really lovely lately. By saying that, some people might assume, well, I must have looked really fat before, or actually I'm losing weight because I'm ill. So people don't like to ask. It's a difficult question to ask sometimes. Anyway, thank you Heather and Anna. I'm pretty sure it's Heather and Anna who asked, have you lost weight? And yes, I have. Since January, when I started to re-diet, I've lost 80, just over 85 pounds. So I have a fair ways to go yet. I'd like to lose at least another 70 pounds. That would be a nice goal for me, a comfortable goal. I have reached my first, second and third goals. I've got one more goal to reach, no, two more goals to reach. I've got, I said, I don't say I'm going to lose this much weight and make it a huge amount, even though I'm telling you, I've still got another 70 pounds to go. That's not, my goal isn't to lose 70 pounds. My goal is to lose, actually now, 15 pounds. And then I've got another goal. And then I've got another goal. Now, originally when I started in January, this January just passed, my plan was to lose all the weight by this coming January. And that started off really well. Obviously, the bigger you are, the quicker you lose weight at the beginning. So it started off really easily. Not easily. The weight was coming off quicker. Obviously, when I get down to a certain stage, that I plateau slightly and it gets very difficult. And the weight comes off very much more slowly. So this January isn't going to be when I reach my ultimate goal. It will probably be the following January. So we're talking, it's going to be a 2-year journey. And there is something else I'd like to say about dieting. Now, I have, like I said, I've been over 350 pounds and I have, at my lowest, weighed about 127, 125, 27, something like that. And I have been through those extremes more than 8 times in my lifetime, since my teenage years. So 8 times I've put my body through this. And it's not that I'm never going to be thin. I'm never going to be a thin person. I will always be slightly Rubenesque, shall we say. I'm never going to be thin. But to put your body through this is something that, trust me, if you can help not to do it, please don't do it, because your body will suffer terribly. And it's not just stretch marks and loose skin, it's what you're doing to your body in general. Now, like I said, I don't mind being a chubby girl. But when it starts to affect how, not just my health, but how I think other people are looking at me, I know that I'm getting seriously into a very big problem area. So, as I stand at the moment, I have left the house. I have been able, within the last week, to go outside the house. And that's a big step. As quite a few of you will know, I'm very agoraphobic, and some of that may be down to my weight. I don't know. Yes, I do know. Of course, it's down to my weight. I don't, and I know that, you know, most people don't judge you, but some people do, and I don't feel comfortable going outside when I'm very much not just a bit chubby, but huge. I don't judge others in the same position, but I just can't do it myself. It terrifies me. because people make wrong assumptions. Now, part of the reason I think this last time, certainly, why the weight did go back on, partly is because I'm not a well person. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. I've, osteoarthritis. I've also got fibromyalgia, and I suffer from tachycardia. I suffer from blackouts. I pass out. I have dizzy spells. The list of foods that I'm intolerant towards, not allergic to, but intolerant towards, is ridiculous. Not that I pay much attention to it. I mean, I'm dairy intolerant, lactose intolerant, gluten intolerant. So not allergic. I'm intolerant. It's different. So I have a nut intolerance. I'm not allergic to nuts, but I have a nut intolerance. They will bring on asthma, but it's not really life-threatening for me. I am intolerant towards fish and meat and products of such. So there's an awful lot I shouldn't be eating, but I do anyway. I mean, cheese sandwich, or my thing I go through at the moment, 2 o'clock trips down to the kitchen, 2 o'clock in the morning trips down to the kitchen just to have Marmite on toast. And although it's dairy-free margarine and it's Marmite, it's still bread, and I am gluten intolerant. But I don't like gluten-free bread. I think it's horrible. So with all of that in mind, you would think that, it would be easy for me to lose weight, but it's not. And, and that's the whole thing. For most people, it is not easy to lose weight. And I would like to give some advice to any younger people out there who may be a lot heavier than they feel comfortable being. Like I said, and for people that aren't, and say to their friends or family or whatever, and I get this a lot, oh, but you're fine as you are, you don't want to lose any more weight. It's not up to you, it's up to the person who's dieting. It's how comfortable you feel. Okay, if we go into an area where obviously there's severe problems, we're talking anorexia and problems, then yes, step in and do something. But until then, when you say to people, don't you think you've lost enough weight, and they're not at their what they feel is an ideal weight yet, a sensible ideal weight, all you're doing is making them feel really awful about themselves. You're not making them feel any better, you're making them feel bad. So I would like to put that out there. Secondly, or firstly, as I was going to say originally, for those people that are younger, do not, if you can help it, try not to put your body through this, ever. But what I would like to say is, I have, like I said, 8 times I have been 350 pounds, and then, okay, the last time, no, I haven't got that high. I didn't let myself get that out of control again. And it is about control, or loss of control. I think from my teens, my 20s, my 30s, my 40s, and now my 50s, I am going through this. Let me tell you, sorry, that was my phone. With each decade, as you grow older, it gets harder and harder to lose weight. And that isn't just something that happens, it is really difficult. And it's not to do with willpower or anything else, it's to do with the way your body is. And also, something that a lot of people don't kind of twig onto the fact is, when you have been very heavy, your body kind of gets used to that to a certain degree, and you see, I'm at 350 pounds, that is morbidly obese. Actually, that's further than morbidly obese. But your body kind of gets used to being bigger and doesn't like to lose weight, and you will find there are certain, and it'll happen anyway, there are certain weights you get to where you will plateau. Now mine is around about the mark I am now, and then a little bit lower. I plateau and I will stay the same weight for a long time. And I think for all the remedies that are out there and diet pills and products and everything, to be honest, there isn't a magical cure for being overweight. There isn't a pill you can take that is going to stop you being overweight. And as difficult as dieting and losing weight is, harder, I believe, as I think I have proven with 8 times fluctuating as much as I do, is maintaining the weight. So if you can lose weight and keep it off when you're younger, that's a good thing, because younger is easier. When you get past a certain age, so I am told, you tend to eat a lot less. I haven't reached that age yet. And I think also, I've got to be honest here, yes, there are quite a few medical reasons why people can be overweight. You know, thyroid problems among them, and there is such thing. Okay, not big boned, but I am, like I said, I am very broad shouldered and broad hipped, and you know, my eldest daughter, she's got solid thighs and a totally flat stomach. I mean, we are talking bored, flat stomach. She hates her thighs because she's broad shouldered and broad, you know, she's got chunky thighs, not fat, but they are chunky. She's got beautiful, beautiful legs. Oh, my girls have actually. But, you know, so that there are certain body shapes that will make you be, in general, weightier, heavier than other body shapes. But there, for the most part, there is not a reason why, you know, people are significantly overweight, other than the fact that they, you know, for the simple reason they are significantly overweight is because they eat more calories than they burn off. It's as simple as that. I would also like to add at the moment as well, since January, since I started this diet, I have not exercised, which is another reason, like I said, that why the weight's not come off as quickly as I would have liked. And I think a lot of that is due to the pain that I get. There are so many things I can't do and so many things I won't do. I mean, I would assume that for certain of my health problems and health issues, swimming and being in water would be a good option. However, me in a swimsuit is never gonna happen. Never. So yeah, it's just, and it's not the fact that I don't want other people to see me in a swimsuit. I don't want to see me in a swimsuit. I don't want to see my reflection of my saggy skin and, you know, fat pockets and wobbly bits and saggy bits, and I think that's the other thing as well, is like I say, there is so much damage that I'm doing, that I have done, which could have been avoided if I'd managed to find that magical whatever it is that helps me maintain a weight. So let's talk about the next question that I'm asked, and I have been asked many, many times, obviously. How do you do it? How do you lose weight? How do you lose a lot of weight? Now, there are plenty of people you can ask, and I don't know what their answers would be. But for me, the first thing I always say is, I'm really sorry. I can't really tell you. I don't know what it is. There is no magic pill. There is no magic. Like I said, just because a certain diet will work for one person doesn't necessarily mean that it will work for another. You know, some people can do really well on, is it the ketone diet or the Cambridge diet or the Atkins diet, and they won't work for someone else. You know, there's the, what's the one they call it? They call it the caveman diet. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, you know, all of these different things they will work for some, they will not work for others, just because people are different. Sorry, I had to answer my phone. So, where was I? Oh, yes. What is the magic formula? How do you lose weight? I don't know. I really, really don't know. It is mostly, to be honest, it is willpower. And the thing is, for me anyway, I don't know what it is. I can desperately, desperately want to lose weight, but it won't work no matter how much willpower I seem to have, until the mindset clicks in. And when this certain mindset clicks in, it kind of activates that willpower, and it's like, yes, now I can do it. And I don't know what it is. There is a lot of, if I'm honest, and I don't think it's magical at all. I think it is just a process I go through to, like I say, sort of kind of reignite my willpower. There's a lot of calling upon spirit and moon magic. Yes, there is, but I think it's, like I said, I don't think it's in a magical way. I think it's more to do with trying to ignite that willpower, to focus on getting the willpower up and running. And I think that's what it is. So before you dismiss magic, if you like, in helping you to lose weight, think about how it works in that, if you use it as a focus to help you, like I said, to focus your mind and your thoughts on what you need. In that way, I do believe it can work. But so there is no amazing pill that's going, you're gonna pop in suddenly, a couple of months later you've lost weight. It's a long, hard slog, and the older you get, the longer and harder the slog is. It's a really difficult time. And as I said, when you get to the end of that, and you finally manage to reach a goal that you're happy with, you then have to find a way of maintaining it. And although that's something I've managed to do for 4 years, 3 years, about 3.5 years, I've never been able to keep the weight off longer than that. And I can blame a million things, the first time it was pregnancy. Then it was, I'm trying to think, death of a family member, and I can go through and tell you what triggered me putting weight on. Not that it actually, these things made me put weight on, but the way I reacted to them is what made me put the weight on. And I think we have to acknowledge that within ourselves, us people that are little fatties. And if you are offended by that, by being called fat, then I am sorry, but we are what we are. Like I said, I am never ever going to be thin. Haven't got the body type for it, certainly haven't got the mentality for it. And much as I would love, I think sometimes, to be a thin person, and I do get very jealous of these people that are naturally thin and never put on weight. Not thin, I shouldn't say thin, not naturally thin, naturally slim and never put on weight. It's, I think for the most part, it's hard work. For most people, it's hard work. I mean, which is quite strange, because I don't remember my mum, who was always very, very slim. She always had a beautiful figure. I don't remember her ever exercising. I can remember you going to keep fit classes once a week, but to be honest, I think that was more for the gossip than the exercise, and that was only once a week. I don't ever remember her regularly exercising. I mean, my eldest daughter goes out jogging every day. You know, and it seems to be part of life at the moment. Maybe it's because the food that we eat in this day and age is so very different to how our grandparents ate and our parents were eating. You know, we eat a lot more processed food and our body reacts to that differently. So maybe we do need to exercise every day now. As I said earlier, certainly since January when I started this diet, I have not exercised at all. That is going to have to change. I have got a small trampette, which is like a mini trampoline that you jog on, because obviously I can't go out running with all the arthritis and everything. So this way, bouncing on a small trampoline is less impactful on my joints. So, you know, and hopefully I'm still young enough to do that. We shall see in the next few weeks. I've had to wait till you get to a certain weight, because over a certain weight that you're just too heavy for the trampoline. So I had to wait until I was a certain weight before I could even get the trampoline out from the attic. No, it wasn't. It was behind the wardrobe in the bedroom. So, yes, I guess this is just a really long, rambling way of saying. So I'm getting comfortable. I'm terrible, aren't I? I slouch a lot. I shouldn't. Yeah, it's quite a long-winded way of saying thank you to the people who have said, "Oh, you've lost weight. You look really lovely." Thank you. Which did prompt this video. Like I said, I think it was Heather and Anna. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm really sorry. And like I said, it's hard. It is very, very hard to lose weight. And I think for all these things that you see, where you see people say, "Oh, you shouldn't, you don't have to exercise to lose weight. You can take this tablet which, binds all the fat so you can lose weight," which I'm sure it does, but it's not a substitute for proper dieting. It never will be. And as I said, everyone's different. Some people can lose weight without exercise. Other people cannot. I've got to the point now where I have to start exercising to carry on with weight loss. And it will be, once again, I think, and I hope I never do, but if at the end of this journey, in a few years' time, I put on weight again, I will not be doing this again. Because if it's this difficult in my 50s, could you imagine what it's going to be like in my late 50s and into my 60s? I think I'd rather be fat and happy and comfortable. So, but whilst I'm still young enough to, and it is simple things, and I've said it before, last time I did this and went on a diet, I want to run around with my grandchildren. I want to walk up the pub again with my husband when the pubs are open and you don't have to have an appointment and a 90-minute time slot to be there. I want to take long walks in the forest and round Burley and up and down the shoreline. I can probably manage maybe a 20-minute walk, maybe. I want to go for an hour or two, like I always used to. And it's these things that, trust me, you may not think you miss, but I would rather have that, that feeling of being out and being in nature and being with my husband and the dog or the grandchildren than I would a hot, buttery, bean and cheese filled toasted sandwich. Probably. And I think that's what it boils down to. What do you want more? Do you want the things that you can achieve when you are healthier? And like I said, it's not necessarily to do with being thinner. It is to do with being healthier. I mean, I've just had quite a scare, really. As I may have mentioned, in the last few years, 3 of my friends have all died. 3 friends have died, all under the age of 50 and all due to heart attacks. All women. And one of them, it was due to asthma. One of them, if I'm honest, it may have been due to what she did to her body. Weight-wise, she was up and down the same as me. One of them, she did have, in her younger years, a slight drug problem, and I know that did have an effect on her body. But these 3 really fantastic women all died of heart attacks under the age of 50. Now that's quite a big chunk of friends to lose in a few years at a young age. Now if you're in your 20s right now, when I say you're sort of like 50-ish, it's probably seeming old to you, but trust me, it's not. And that was scary. Then to find out that I actually have had to double my heart medication because my or my blood pressure medication, because my blood pressure is so high, that was scary. I do have heart problems. I have a heart murmur, I have tachycardia, and to have this high blood pressure as well, I'm heading for an early grave. Not as early as these 3 friends that I've lost recently, but that mixed with my own health has made me really stop and think I need to start taking care of myself. But part of this, if I'm honest, part of this taking care of myself is rooted in I need to like myself a bit better first. And I don't mean like myself personality wise, I mean when I look in the mirror, I need to like myself a little bit to want to take care of it. I'm being honest, and that may seem slightly shallow, but until you really can say that you love what you see in the mirror, you're not going to want to take care of it. At least that's how I feel. Now, you know, you have to, I think, like I said, respect other people to a certain extent. You know, when they're losing weight, don't, you know, oh, don't you think you lost enough weight? That is one of the worst things you can say to someone. It's hurtful. Or one thing I've actually had from a couple of people is, oh, don't go as thin as you did last time. Why not? I wasn't actually thin. I was slim, but I wasn't thin, and I felt really healthy, and I felt amazing. And I got down to a certain weight and I stopped. You know, I didn't take it to an extreme. I should be commended for that, not almost like put down for it. So I think you have to be quite careful with people, you know, who are dieting. But then if you are the dieter, then you have to understand that, like, as I've said, it's not jealousy. I don't think jealousy drives these comments. I think it's maybe partly because you're changing, and the people that love you the most don't want you to change emotionally, and you know that they associate that changing of physicality a change with emotion, or a change of your character, because you do change, certainly. Me as a slimmer person compared to me as a very, very heavy person are 2 completely different people. And although I'm still outwardly a very, very happy person, trust me, what goes on inside it's completely different. And like I said, you have to be quite fond of the person you see in the mirror to want to take care of that person. For me, anyway. And for people to, and it is a put down when they say, oh, I think you've lost enough weight, or oh, don't lose any more, or you're fine as you are. To be honest, your opinion doesn't matter, because it's how the person feels themselves. And like I said, it's not just to do with looks, it is to do with health. You know, some people can be quite big and be very healthy. I was for a long time. You know, sort of the size I am now, so still quite big and yet quite healthy. I am actually feeling quite healthy at the moment. But like I said, when you have friends that die of heart attacks before the age of 50, you have to stop and think. But there is no quick way of doing this. I mean, yes, you could do the whole liposuction and all the stomach, removal and all the rest of it. That's not the best option. And I'll tell you why. Is what they don't tell you when you have these operations is that something like 70% of the people who have gastric bypasses, not just gastric bands, gastric bypasses, about 70% of these people after 5 years will start to regain the weight. And then where are you? I mean, that's scary. If you have a gastric band, it's not as effective. And I think, yes, they are incredibly effective operations, to start with. But if you have that addictive personality that made you a fair size to begin with, eventually that addictiveness, that personality is going to return. And if it doesn't return in one way, it's going to return in another. For a lot of people who are overweight, there is an addiction to food. And it's really difficult because you can't live without it. So you have to try to train your body to take its drug, what you're addicted to, and yet never overdose on it. It's really hard. And for people that don't have that addiction, it is an addiction. It feels like an addiction. You get a rush. You have a food and you stuff that food in your mouth, and that feeling of being full to the point of wanting to explode sometimes. It's addictive, and you want it again and again and again. And yes, part of it might be sort of like emotional, you're filling an emotional space. But for some people, it is simply an addiction to food, to tastes and textures and food. So it's really hard to be addicted to something that you cannot live without. It's like being addicted to air, So, right, I have rambled on enough. I just wanted to thank the people that have said, oh, you've lost some weight recently. Thank you very much. And for that encouragement, it's nice. And I will try to keep a face-to-face on camera when I can, because I think it's only fair that if I'm making this public, then I should keep you updated. I'm not going to be the type of person who says, oh, I'm sharing this recipe and I'm sharing that recipe. All I'm going to say is, for anyone and I get mine at Tesco's, I assume you can get them other places. It's called Kirsty's Lentil Cottage Pie. I am addicted. Oh, I have one every day. It's not very often that I have something else for my dinner. I have an addictive personality anyway. I mean, the other thing as well is back in... Oh, when was it? Was it January? February? Or was it last year? I can't even remember now. I gave up smoking. I don't smoke. And that has been really difficult because I want a cigarette every day. So maybe when I start exercising, I'll get addicted to the exercising. And I know I will. If I can do the exercise, I will get addicted to that rush for a while. And I have to be quite careful. Being an addictive personality can get you into a lot of trouble. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet. I've rambled on enough, and I've said what I needed to say. And like I said, I'm not going to keep you... I will keep you updated this way. You'll be able to see, to a certain degree, how I'm looking from here up. And you'll kind of know as well, I think as well, from the camera angle. At the moment the camera angle is pretty much level with my face, so I'm not filming slightly higher anymore. So and you know, maybe I'll put my hair up one day and you'll see that I've got a neck again, because I have got a bit of a neck again. You can see it's an old scraggy neck. Yeah. But I'm not going to keep you updated on recipes and what I eat and everything like that, because that's not what this channel is for. I just wanted to acknowledge the people that had acknowledged my weight loss and answer a few questions and leave it at that. So thank you for watching, Witch people. I know it's been a long one. Trust me, this is much shorter than the original one I had planned. So thank you for watching, and I'll be back very soon. Bye for now.